What is up, everyone? Nintern here. I just want to make a quick video kind of going over the 1207 raid Sporefall. Sporefall is just a one boss raid coming in 12.0.7 in Ren'dorei. Just as another, to me anyway, just as another like little bump to our gearing for the season. As the season gets towards its later third, I suppose. We've had bonus rolls in the Nil Hammer to upgrade our gear and get more myth pieces. And then with this gear drops at 298, which, like this trinket, obviously it's the same eye level as the Void Forge stuff, but this ring, this belt, this neck, and this helm, those are kind of fair game to be a higher eye level than everything else. And I just want to talk about kind of the implications of that on like Abyss list. Um, this lists just in general are kind of like a boogeyman. They really shouldn't be taken very seriously. Just play what sims better for you, and then if you get lucky enough, eventually you'll just have this or close to for the season and close enough. So it's not something to think about too hard. Like I'm wearing the Loa Worshippers band because I made it when Void Scarred was good, and now it's not, but it still sims higher for me for some reason. Anyway, starting with the Festerbloom Crown, this isn't anything special. It's just a crit haste helm. This, assuming it can be catalyzed, is pretty great because especially if it can be catalyzed, it's just a higher eye level version of our myth helm. So, if it can't be catalyzed, there's definitely a world where this is still BIS just because it's a higher eye level than the other helm. You would have to wear haste first pants, so that's just something we're gonna have to sim and figure out. But I am pretty positive on the Festerbloom Crown. Don't think we're gonna run into anything too crazy there. Rotmeyer's Sporeheart. Your healing has a chance to spawn protective toadstools, absorbing damage for up to 12 seconds. If broken, the toadstools burst to deal nature damage to nearby enemies. Now, the big thing with this is it doesn't have haste, which is an advantage for the Eternal Void Song chain. It does have a damage proc, but let's say you do get this one. I really do think there's a world where this is good, and I'll kind of explain that later when we get 2 items down. But the big question is with like these small eye level bumps, because I mean it's a 9 eye level bump, which can be kind of treated as like 2 or 3 ranks on a track. But just in general, I don't see this being better than Eternal Void Song chain, just because the proc is decent on it. Um, but especially with part of the reason is with things like Eye of the Eagle, Ring Enchant, and just kind of changes we've gotten. Crit in general is like a little better to the point where you just want a little bit of crit. Like I currently have like 500 crit, and that's like a fine amount. Because crit is good in AoE because of Collapsing Star. But it's not something you should be like, oh, like I really can't encourage anyone to like overthink their stats so demonstrably. I just sim my gear and you wear what's good. Like it's really not something to overly think about. But this neck definitely on the radar. And I think it has a chance to be good. It depends on how the proc actually works. Like if the toadstools burst around us, and to me that probably brings Void Song chain just still being very, very strong. So we'll see. But I'm a little indifferent on this. Sash of the Putrid Giant. I mean, this isn't something. I mean, even if we can catalyze it, like our belt is low crit, high haste, and this is like high crit, low mastery. So like, if you can catalyze this, I think this would be better catalyzed than not. Obviously, again, depends on your stats with your current gear. Would just have to see, but nothing really to tell here. Just a belt, like nothing crazy. Spore Caller's Blooming Loop. This is relevant to the neck, which we were talking about earlier. High haste, very high haste, low mastery. Dealing nature damage is a chance to inflict Rot Bloom, dealing nature damage over 15 seconds. If the enemy is already afflicted by your Rot Bloom, it is consumed to deal 120% of its remaining damage. This ring is very good. Like very, very good, and I will tell you why, because you might say, Nintern, we deal void damage. We deal cosmic damage. Like, surely that's not nature damage, right? It is. We deal nature damage. Cosmic damage is nature, arcane, holy, and shadow damage. So it's why we work with, Eternal Void Song Chain, is because cosmic damage is shadow damage. Same way we work with nature damage, because cosmic damage is also nature damage. So the question then becomes, if we're looking at our rings, like our Bis rings, which I have neither of. I have Midnight is it's very itemized in a way that makes it incredible for us. The proc on it is worthless. Like it could really just have nothing at all. It does have 2 sockets, which is also very good. And then we look at our other Bis ring from Void Spire, from Lightline and Vanguard, which is just a low haste, high mastery with a socket. I initially was more in the realm of getting rid of Eye of Midnight, because I was like, I feel like if we got rid of Bond of Light, like all 3 of our jewelry pieces would be really, really high haste. But I think I've kind of been turned around. Especially because like Bond of Light doesn't do anything. I think it'd be different if it like had a proc or something. And even with there's been some people where like Omission of Light and Occlusion of Void are Bis. They say it's Bis, but it's just simming well because they don't have the actual Bis rings. But I mean, if you only do dungeons, like Omission of Light and Occlusion of Void is like very, very good. Like, that's totally fine. You can totally run that and be successful. I mean, you can really run anything and be successful. But this is really strong. I mean, that's kind of the brass tacks of it. If I get it, I will be very happy. But as far as like Abyss goes, you'd probably replace Bond of Light. But again, it depends on your stats. Like, if you're not full Biz, because like I'm wearing our Catalyst Cloak, which is just crit haste, and like I'm wearing our Catalyst Belt, which is crit haste, and I'm wearing I'm wearing Crafted Pants still. So I mean, these things are, and like I'm wearing the Warglaive and like Spellbound, like these things are very variable. Like until you get Lightless Lament, like Lightless Lament is a decent amount of crit because it has only crit on it. It's not gonna be as much as your jewelry, but that's the whole point of jewelry, is that it has a very large budget of secondary stat, whereas weapons, like, I mean, 34 mastery and 52 haste versus 48 mastery, which is still more than Spellbound Saber has, and that's on the low end, but 255 haste. This is where most of your secondary stats are coming from. That's why I have a lot of crit, because I'm wearing the little Worshipper's Band. So, I would consider this Bis just flat out right now. So if you can get this at Myth, I mean, go for it. Did these? Yeah, I mean, it's 280, and it's 285 at Hero. Even if you don't Mythic grade at all, but you do Heroic grade, these items are still incredibly good. Some of them aren't, because like this isn't better than a Myth Helm. This probably loses. I mean, this definitely loses out to Eternal Void Song Chain and Myth. But like, if you don't Mythic grade at all, and you just get your Myth items from like doing keys and getting your vault, or doing keys and getting your bonus roll from those, like, yeah, the belt, the helm, and this neck aren't gonna be good. But like a 285 ring is that has this effect on it. Why not? Like the 4 eye level difference isn't enough. That's gonna outweigh how presumably decent the cantrip is. Like, this is such a great source of gear for like, especially for alts too. Like, even normal is 272. Like, that's insane for a brand new character. And now for our last item, Spore Lord's Mycelial Insignia. This is about as plain as trinkets come. Just spells and abilities can grant you a pretty good amount of secondary stat and a leech for 12 seconds. It if I'm generalizing, if I'm allowed to generalize, this is a healer trinket. To me it is anyway. Random secondary stat for us is like arguably kind of bad. Because that means you have a 1 in 4 chance to get versatility. I would show versatility, but I literally have none, so it doesn't even show up on my character page. And like crit, while I've talked about like crit being okay, like we'd much rather just proc haste or mastery. And like the leech, sure, it'll add on to my baseline 10% and in meta 20% leech. Like I don't care. The thing is, if I can, this isn't devour related, but like healers really like leech because it's just an additive to their healing that helps keep them alive just in general based off the healing that they're doing. And increases HPS. So like this is totally a healer trinket. If there's really a DPS spec that like really likes this, I would be, especially with it being the same eye level as Ascended Voidforge stuff. This I'm not really putting this in the conversation. Like Veilgors and Gaze the Onslaught are both so strong that at Myth 298 that it's. But again, this is part of why I like Sporefall existing the way it does. Is if you're on a brand new Devourer, let's say, and you join your guild's alt heroic raid, or you plug into a random normal. Let's stick with normal. This normal gear is 272. That's really good for a brand new character to get. Baseline hero gear caps at 276. So if you want to get started doing keys or just doing anything, I mean, if you're a delve weirdo that wants to just do delves, like this is great gear. I mean, especially the trinket, like for a brand new character, that's awesome. And on heroic, I mean, this is basically myth gear. This is basically, I mean, really close to Captain Myth gear. If you don't do a lot of content that gives you myth gear, or you've gotten unlucky with bonus rolls or whatever, this is still fantastic gear. And at Mythic, I mean, Biss, Biss, like, I mean, it's not even a question. And the more question is more, are you going to get the loot? Because, I mean, especially if you're in the most Mythic raids that have like a loot council or something, you know, I mean, this is going to go to a healer. I'm really curious to see the healer sims for this, but this is going to go to a healer, especially if it gives that much leech. Like, I would really be interested to see that. This ring is basically going to be fought over by any DPS that does nature damage, which would be like us, druids, rogues. Poisons are nature damage. Why am I blinking on specs that do nature damage? Monks do nature damage. Shamans do nature damage. Hunters do nature damage. I think they do something. So like, I mean, it's a very competitive ring. There's really good stats. It's very well budgeted. So we'll see. Because all of our damage is cosmic, so we don't have any like. It's not like Havoc. We're like, because I think Havoc technically does nature damage with chaos. But also, not all of their damage is nature damage. It's just they have some physical damage to kind of throw it in there. But and just other stuff just for fun. There's this mushroom. There's a toy. There's a heartstone and this shroom cap thing to get. But that's kind of an overview for just the gearing and kind of what to think about when you go into 1207, and kind of getting back into the season and seeing if if that gear is going to give you a good bump. So otherwise, I think that's going to end us off today, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.